Check this out.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Countdown is go at T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition.
This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Here's your host, Tim Scott.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. We're here for a very special, very exciting show, joined by Mr. Brad Coates from the DVC Roundtable. Brad, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, I love the new show open. But I want to know how you did that voice with the Australian accent. You're really talented.
Well, I have many skills that I don't show on the show.
Oh.
Well, Brad, we're going to get right into it because we're going to talk about something we've hinted at on several of the DVC Roundtables and other shows before, and you do this quite a bit. So I figure let's have the expert on. We're going to talk about, for your Disney vacation, staying at different hotels on the same trip. Everyone calls it the split stay. So this show, we're going to talk about the art of the split stay. How excited are you about this topic?
I'm excited because I do consider myself an expert at this, because you become an expert after you make a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes, and you learn.
Right.
Then you become an expert.
Absolutely, you do.
I guess I qualify.
You do. And there's lots of things to involve. And even if the split stay wouldn't go quite as what you would think it would go, you're going to have a fantastic trip.
Oh, absolutely. I love, we do a split stay pretty much every trip now.
Awesome. And we'll get into the different kinds of resorts and all that kind of, but Brad, why don't you tell us exactly what is a split stay?
Yeah, so you really nail it. It's not rocket science. It's not a mystery. It's basically you go to Disney World. It's not really designed for Disneyland because Disneyland is all compact. So you really wouldn't, I'm not sure it would be advantageous. But because Disney World is so spread out and you can get a resort and you can be near two parks but way away from the other parks and different things. So basically what a split stay is, you, on your trip to Disney World, you stay for a certain number of days at one resort, and then you transfer in the middle of your vacation to a second resort to experience that resort, all on the same vacation.
Excellent. Who do you think, in your experiences, I know you have done it, who should consider a split stay?
Well, before we went on the air, we were talking a little bit about it. I wrote it this way. I said, the person who should consider a split stay is somebody who wants to go on an adventure more than they want to settle down.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, because doing a split stay is a wonderful experience because I get two different worlds. You know, if I stay at Animal Kingdom for part of it, then it's a whole different experience than staying at Beach Club Villa, just in the resorts themselves. And so there's lots of reasons. So if your mindset is, I don't mind a little bit of inconvenience if I get to have a bigger adventure. So if you're looking for more of an adventure, I think it's a great opportunity. And it's also only for people who are flexible. If you're the kind of person that settles down, unpacks everything that you bring the first day into every drawer, you're not going to like split stays. So
that takes us to the opposite of this question. Who should not
the nots.
consider a split stay?
That's first on my list. If you're nesters,
yes.
You come in and want to build we were joking. My wife is a lot like that too. She likes to build her little nest. And so if you like to build your nest, you like to completely unpack, you like to just settle into one spot, enjoy that, and just be completely relaxed without adding any more to the adventure, you really shouldn't consider a split stay because, listen, it can be done, and it can be done without a lot of stress, but it will add some. There's no way around it. It will add certain things that and we'll talk about that in a minute. Some of the things you got to be aware of because they will create issues in a split stay. But other than that, though, I don't know who wouldn't want to, unless you're somebody who you just have a favorite resort. This is where we go every time. We're you meet them. They'll tell you straight up, we're poly people. Mm-hmm. We don't go anywhere but Polynesian. We love it, and that's great.
I would say also it would depend on your kids. If your kids don't like the kind of upheaval all the time, they just want to kind of have their new home for the week or however long you're there. Or, maybe you have kids like maybe on a spectrum somewhere where, a lot of change might not be the best. Maybe you just want to skip to one resort and just kind of stay at that one.
I hadn't thought about that, especially with kids on the spectrum and stuff, that stress. And then, I think when they're tiny, it wouldn't matter. But as they get a little bit older, then you start creating more tensions with the change. So that's a good point.
When they start becoming a little more independent, when they're little enough and they're just kind of along for the ride, they're up for anything.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever the pack and play pops up, they're happy.
Exactly. What length of vacation do you consider doing a split stay? I'm sure you probably don't do it if you're there for a quick, 2 or 3 day weekend.
And I've done a split stay, but for specific reasons, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Like I've done it with 3 day stays. I've stayed at one. One of the reasons why sometimes I will do that is because, especially and it's a little bit different. There are some caveats between doing it as a stay, cash paying customers or as DVC. But what I will do is I'll stay in a resort at the least amount of points in the smallest room the first day, because when I fly in and I don't get there till usually at least 6 o'clock in the evening. So the day's gone.
Right.
So I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, cash, on a fancy room, at Beach Club. Mm-hmm. I'd rather just stay at Altar Movies for a night and then transfer my bags over the next day while I'm at the parks. And then the next couple of days when they're all day, then I'm at Beach Club or Animal Kingdom where I can really enjoy the park. So shorter ones, once in a while you might,
right?
But I'm kind of like you. I don't think you'd want to do a split stay for less than a 4-day trip.
Okay, so you're using kind of All Stars as your Holiday Inn pre-night when you first arrive at your destination.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. We're on site. We get to use the transportation, but it's my Holiday Inn Motel 6. Well, I'm not doing the Motel 6. So
no.
Maybe Super 8.
Okay, but they will move your bags for you too, since you're right there at the Disney Resort.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Have you ever?
And in fact, Go ahead.
I was going to say, have you ever done like a tri-stay where you stay at 3 hotels or more? I'm sure if anybody's done it, Mr. Brightcoats has.
And we have done that. Done it at least once. I was trying to remember if there might have been a second time, but I don't remember exactly how that one. I'm kind of mixing. My brain is mixing multiple trips, but we did do it one time. But it was specifically so that maybe what we should. Doing a tri-stay, I've done that, and that was on a 6-day trip. It was one of our longer trips, and I mainly, the reason that I did it is because I was wanting to be near certain parks. It was going to be a very busy weekend. I knew transportation was going to be bad, and so I helped to negate the transportation problem by picking resorts that were near the parks where, with 2 of them, I could just walk to. Contemporary, we walked to Magic Kingdom. Beach Club, we walked right into Epcot, and then caught Skyliner for Hollywood Studios, and then we stayed at Animal Kingdom.
That's awesome, because that's basically what we're kind of leading into is what factors go into choosing the resorts for your split stay.
Location. Yeah, location to the parks is huge.
Well, you might be excited to try a couple of different themes. If the themes don't match up to the parks you want to go to with the ease of the transportation, you might want to just kind of double think that idea.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because, once again, it comes down to, that's the other factor that I had written down and it's not only location, though. It's not all practical. It's about the experience. We're huge fans of Animal Kingdom. And so there's just an experience there that you can't get anywhere else in the United States. I don't think you'll ever find anything where you experience that kind of an experience.
True.
Especially not in a theme park. So, but staying there the whole stay, it becomes problematic with transportation. So then we'll try to pick another resort for some of the time for theme. For example, Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower. Those are excellent for the views of Magic Kingdom. the DVC rooms. I just finally stayed in a theme park view room. Oh my gosh, I'm so spoiled. That was amazing.
Really?
I mean, it was like you were sitting right on top of the whole show, you know. And unfortunately, they weren't doing fireworks yet, so I didn't get to do that. But yeah, so you know, if you want to get away to the Wilderness Lodge, if you want to experience a beach club with the water park, so. Factors: number one, transportation. Number two, the experiences you want to do. Are you going to do a, we always do like a day off from the parks on our long trips in the middle of the stay. So we try to build that around beach club.
Okay.
So then we can enjoy beach club, enjoy the Stormalong Bay on our day off out of the parks and really enjoy it. So but those are the two that I had. Do you have anything else that you kind of think about when you think of, well, I wrote resort amenities, and that's the other one is, do I want a better water? You know, this one, I don't care for the pool, but this one, I really love it.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing with, again, just traveling with kids in your family. You know, if your kids aren't into swimming, you know, maybe you want to stay at like the boardwalk instead of, you know, the beach club. If you're in that kind of area.
Good point. Yeah.
So.
Although the Scary Clown's gone and the new pool's pretty nice, but.
True. No Stormalong Bay.
No Stormalong Bay. Yep. And that setting up tickets is kind of easy, really, because you can do a 4-night stay, but you can book a 6-day ticket or 7-day ticket. You can the amount of days you pick for that you purchase don't have to match the number of days you're staying at that resort.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get out there.
So you want to make sure when you're doing this that you book your tickets for the first stay, not the second stay.
Absolutely.
Because it becomes very, very problematic, very difficult to get your tickets in your hands sometimes when it's connected to the next one. Plus, they don't usually activate until that day.
Right.
So now that they're activating by the day, you'd be in trouble. So, but yeah, and then what happened, then when you purchase your tickets, I don't know what it is. You know what it is? I think if you buy a 4-day ticket, you have like 8 days to use it.
Yeah, something like that. Give a couple extra days there at the end of your thing.
Yeah, there's always extra days there.
So
yeah, so you're usually okay. Yeah, it's usually okay. Yeah,
Awesome.
The only tricky part would be is the one part you would have to be, no, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Yeah, it's just a number of days. If you were taking too many off days in the middle and then doing 2 resorts, you might start to run into a problem.
Yes.
And you're trying to only do a 4-day ticket over, 7 days, then, you start to get to the edge of it. But yep, that's the way to do it. And just another caveat to that.
Okay.
We're looking forward to the future. Split stays are phenomenal. We probably should have put this under factors and benefits. Dining plan. Dining plan is difficult nowadays to get it to really be valuable because it starts the day you arrive. When we get there at 6, we've wasted the whole day. Mm-hmm. It'll last all day, your last day there, but most people are headed to the airport that day.
Right.
But in a split stay, that's not a problem anymore because either if I just do the dining plan on the second part of my trip, then I have it all day that day.
Right.
Even though I haven't checked into the hotel, into my new hotel, it doesn't matter. I can go do breakfast in the park, do lunch, do dinner. Or if I do it at the first part of the stay, then I have the entire day at the end of it where I'm still there and I'm not going anywhere. So I can use it. So it makes it a lot more valuable to do. And we usually will do the dining plan for one part of the stay or the other when it's available. Mm-hmm. Hurry up, come back. So
one thing I just thought of when we were talking about this is if you had the water parks option, the day you change resorts would be a great day to utilize the water parks.
Exactly right. And for those of you that haven't done that, just understand, like if you buy a 4-day ticket and you add the water park and more package or whatever they're calling it now, if you do a 3-day ticket, then it gives you 3 more days in the water parks. If you buy a 4-day ticket, it gives you 4 days in the water park. So it gives you the same number of days in the water park as it does for the park. And so, it's a perfect time in between to just take a day off, do a shorter ticket, and then just really take advantage of the water park on those off days. Yep. Oh, that'd be great.
Great tip, Brad. I love it. Now, have you ever done a split stay Not just between Disney resorts, between Disney and Universal resorts. Maybe 3 days at Disney,
yes,
3 days at Universal. I knew it. That's why you're here.
In fact, the last 2 to 3 years, well, at least 3 times, but I don't remember if it was 3 years in a row. As my kids have gotten older, they're huge Universal fans. So now when we go down, the last 2 trips for sure we've gone down, we spent like 4 days at Disney World, and then we transferred to Universal and spent 2 to 3 days there.
Wow.
And we've done that for the last several. And honestly, the way that Universal is set up, there's some great programs there that make it really easy to do. So the challenge, of course, is when you're doing it this way, if you're coming in and you're using Magical Express, Disney's not going to give you free transportation to go to Universal.
No, but Magical Express doesn't last that much longer anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be paying for it now anyway. So it's starting in January. So they have a program or an add-on that Universal offers. It's called the Take Two Transfer.
Oh, tell us. I think I've heard about this, but I refresh my mind on this. I do remember something about this.
Yeah. So it's what it does. It all depends upon whether if you're going, let's say you're putting Universal at the front of your trip, then the Take Two Transfer, you pay for the transportation. They will then give you transportation from the airport, from MCO to Universal. And then on your transfer day that you want to transfer to Disney, they'll give you transportation one way over to Disney. So it'll go airport to Universal, Universal to Disney. Or if you're putting Universal at the end of your trip, it'll do from Disney to Universal, and then when you're leaving from Universal to the airport.
That's fantastic.
Which worked really good with free Magical Express because then the Disney part was taken care of.
Right.
And then I just paid for the Take Two transfer and it's clean. And this was the other part, because sometimes when you do those shuttle transports and stuff, like they do a deal where you can buy at Disney World, you can buy into your package a 1 day, your travel agent can help you. You buy a 1 day trip over to Universal, right? Have you had any clients do that?
I have not, but I know it's available.
The bad thing with those things is it's kind of locked in. Well, they will pick you up at this time. It's like Disney taking you to the cruise line. I don't want to wait till 2 PM to go to the cruise line. Well, that's when we take you.
Right.
So you just got to go when they say, and then it's you don't get a full day in Universal because then they want you to bring you back by a certain time. With the Take Two, I have literally stayed the entire day at Disney World or up until like 10 o'clock and then 9 or 10 o'clock at Universal. And then they were set up to pick us up at that. So I would just go back to the resort and they'd be there. And so they'll do it late at night. They'll do it early in the morning. You can really set it up. So it's very, very convenient to do it that way.
That is a great tip. Great tip. I love split stays.
Yeah, me too. Universal's a good one because in most instances now, I've got the touring plan stuff down pretty good. I can pretty much do everything that we want to do in 1 day, both parks.
Oh, wow.
The only thing is if we're going to add Volcano Bay on, then for sure I got to have 2. But yep, I love Universal split stays.
I was going to say another thing you could actually do between your split stays would be something like NASA. Take the day, go over to NASA while they move your bags.
Right. And like we always encourage people, listen, some of you just love to plan and you're into it, and that's great. It's fun. I know why you like to do it, because I became a travel agent because I have so much fun planning.
Oh, yeah.
I don't make a living at it. I do it because I love it. So maybe you like to do it yourself, but travel agents can help you, but are a great gift because they can help you with a lot of that. But there's tons of what we would call in a cruise an excursion.
Oh yeah. Oh.
You Google it, you search, you go to Viator, you do the different places. You will find places that will provide you transportation from Disney World to NASA, to Gatorland, to wherever you're wanting to go, to SeaWorld, all of those things, and then transportation back, and a ticket, and then transportation back. There's all kinds of excursion packages out there. So yeah, those are fun to do. I've had clients do it where they took a day and went to the beach. The challenge is it's a pretty hefty drive from Disney World to, and when I say hefty, it's not like multiple hours, but it's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to a quality beach.
I was going to say to get to a nice beach. I mean, you can drive and hit water, but no point where you're going to want to necessarily get out and.
Oh, look, it's Port Canaveral. How nice!
I'll just walk over to this government area.
Yeah. Stay away from it. Yeah, but to get to a good beach, you're talking a 2-hour drive, and so it can it'll take you all day.
Yeah,
but you can do it.
Yeah,
and think about it. If you ever want to figure out how to take a day trip on any a fun park or theme park approach to a vacation, you can't do better than Florida.
Oh.
There's a list that doesn't end on things you can do in Florida.
Absolutely. You can take Disney and Universal off the list and still be there for months doing everything.
Yeah, that's the truth.
What's your biggest tip for somebody who's considering a split stay?
Well, the one that I think anybody that talks about split stays, and I'm sure, if you've ever listen to any podcasts, most podcasts will get around to it eventually and have some kind of conversation. Pretty much everybody says the same thing on the number one thing, and that is make sure you plan the best resort last.
Absolutely.
Don't go to the Grand Floridian and then say, I'm going to save some money my last few days at Pop Century.
Right.
Pop Century is a great resort.
It's fantastic.
But not after you've been at Grand Floridian.
No.
It's just, it's like, okay, well, oh man, I'm in poverty now. So yeah, do the lighter ones first. If you are doing DVC, or you could do this cash too, but when we would do DVCs, we would usually do like a studio one where the kids didn't mind sleeping on the fold-out couch the first couple of days because we're in the park all day. And then towards the end, we would then book into a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom villa in any of the DVC resorts. And those, not only do they get bigger and comfortable beds now and more space, but it provides a washer and dryer inside the unit. So
that's huge.
We've gotten really good now, getting better at not overpacking and bringing, like what most of us do. It's like, well, let me see. I brought all these clothes and I wore half of them.
Right.
So we still have ones we never wear, but yeah, some of us, I'll just wash that at the end. And socks and underwear and stuff like that, cut back on it.
Right.
And plus, I don't know how your wife is, but my wife is just such a happier camper when we get home from our trips and the laundry's basically already done.
I will say, we don't worry about that too much. We just throw all the dirty laundry into the suitcase, just lay it out in the room and just start churning it out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a travel tip right there. Empty the luggage, put it somewhere. This one's the dirty clothes.
Exactly.
Just keep tossing it in the bag.
Exactly.
Close it when it's time to go. But this way, when we get home, we don't have to do the laundry. It's already done. The other thing, another biggest point I would recommend is make sure if you're going to do a split stay that you have taken the time to plan carefully. So there are some caveats to a split stay. And the number one thing that surprises and then frustrates first-time split stayers is they pack their bag up, they got it downstairs. So what happens, we never did say that. So at Disney, what happens, you're staying in a resort. When you're getting ready to transfer to your next resort, all you have to do is that day, before you go to the parks, you bring your bags down to the guest services and say, I'd like to have my bags transferred to X. And then they'll mark them. And then during that day, they will transfer all of your bags and your luggage over to your new hotel for you, which makes it very nice.
It does.
Here's the challenge. It's a slow process. Don't think because I went down there at 7 a.m. and gave them my bags that by 9 a.m. they're at your resort. They're probably not even going to leave your resort until 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that.
Right.
They pack everything up and then there's a process. So normally, I usually encourage people, don't expect your bags at the next resort before 4 p.m. And that's a That's a hopeful 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Sometimes 6.
Right. Now, if you brought your
So-
own car, you can just, it's just as easy to roll them out to your car and be good to go. But if you're counting on Disney baggage, you need to build in lots of time.
If you do have your own transportation or you have a rental car, it's cake. And by the way, with that, just know this: when you go to transfer bags, they will also transfer perishables. So if you bought groceries, you have things. If you have stuff in a fridge, they will keep it refrigerated, and then they'll transfer over into refrigerated. They will transfer your food. So, but if you're in your own car, you wouldn't want to be putting all that stuff first thing in the morning, leaving it in all day, and
True.
Go to the other resort. But you can leave them at the resort where you're at, and in guest services, they'll hold it for you. Then you can always come back from the day in the park, pick up your stuff from that hotel, take it to the other one if you wanted to. So that's what I'm saying. You got to plan and think it through. Make sure you've covered all your bases. One of the other things is, like we were talking in the beginning, what we do to kind of alleviate the whole frustration of I packed, I unpacked, now I'm packing again. Why am I doing this in the middle of my vacation? We usually have we carry 2 bags when we go on a trip. We try to pack everything. We try to, first off, I encourage my wife and kids kind of put together your outfits that you're going to wear at the first day.
Yes.
So you know what you want. Put those in one bag, and then put everything else that you're not going to use for those first few days in the other bag. Put it away. Don't even worry about it. And by the way, you don't have to do that from where you leave from. We've been known that we'll get there, and that first night we're there, we don't have anything to do anyway. Then we move stuff around in the bags so that it ends up with one bag.
There we go.
This is what we're going to use here. The other one we put away, and then we just use that one bag. So then when you get ready to pack up the day you transfer, most of your stuff's already packed.
True.
You just throw whatever's left, dirty clothes, food you didn't eat, whatever, into the other bag, and you're ready to go.
It's a good tip. And if you're going to a split stage move day, you might want to do that, pack up the night before if you're planning on going to the park also early that morning. You might not want to.
Absolutely.
You might not want to wake up extra early, try to get everything packed up, get out, check out.
If you're rope droppers, that's bad enough for me. I'm a guy that thinks, crack of noon's perfect to get up.
There you go.
Every day. Go to that. I know that's the way you live, Tim. I mean, you sleep in most of the day, right?
Oh, I sleep until at least 3 a.m. every day.
Yeah, exactly. You're usually coming home about the time the rest of us are, and going to bed about the time the rest of us are like getting wound up.
There have been days, absolutely.
Keep in mind that if you do get one of those particular rooms that has laundry, beware of that, so that you can pack a little lighter when you go on your trip. It does make it nice.
That would be nice. But you might feel you're forgetting something if you go with the too light of a suitcase. But you can buy whatever you need down there. Especially this year, the 50th logo on there.
Please stop reminding me. I keep praying that will come to an end after how many trips we've been down. It never works. Still, it's like, really? Do we have to buy all this stuff?
Right.
Yes,
exactly.
we do.
All right. Before we wrap this up, let's go with, park by park. I want to hear your optimal resort. So you're going to Epcot. What resort would you stay at for your split stay?
Okay, so for sure the top one is Beach Club.
Nice.
Because it is the closest to the International Gateway for Epcot, and it is it's the closest to the Skyliner ramp, to where you can go from there to go to Hollywood Studios. So,
excellent.
That's number one. Then closely followed by Boardwalk. Mm-hmm. Boardwalk's an excellent resort, and it's not too far of a walk into the Epcot International Gateway.
Excellent. Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood Studios, that one can be a little tricky. Maybe Caribbean Beach would be the one I'd say. I'm not a big fan of Caribbean Beach because of the transportation, because of the multiple bus stops. It just seems like it never ends.
Right,
You're too long once you get on the bus to get out of there, or you're too long riding it when you're trying to come back.
Yes.
But it's a fantastic place to get to Epcot and or Hollywood Studios because of the Skyliner, and which is my newest favorite form of transportation.
Yeah, I was getting to that because some of the resorts you might not have chose before, the Skyliner's kind of been a game changer because you could even do the Beach Club for a great hotel to the studios.
Right. And if you're looking for a budget, the nice thing there's Pop Century now is in play.
Yes.
Because of the Skyliner, I can get from Pop Century, I think the last time when I tracked it from Pop Century to Hollywood Studios, it was about 12 or 13 minutes.
12 or 13 minutes of bliss.
Yeah. So the Hollywood Studios opens up a lot as long as you're cool with Skyliner and you're there at the right time of year when there's not a lot of storms and they're shutting it down all the time.
Right. How about for the Animal Kingdom split stay resort for there? Where would you stay?
Yeah, and by far, the Animal Kingdom. I'm Jumbo. I own a Kidani. Well, I technically, guys, let me correct that. My points are actually Jumbo.
Okay.
And I prefer Jumbo. It's a little smaller. Yes, it's still long ways to the lobby, but it's way better than Kidani. I like the view of the animals better from Kidani. The lobby at Jumbo. The lobby's better at Jumbo. Mm-hmm. Jumbo is just Animal Kingdom Jumbo House there's no better than that. It's just hop, skip, and a jump. Now, unfortunately, there's some people that think, oh, you're right there. You can walk. Oh, we're going to walk over to Animal Kingdom.
No.
I don't do that.
No, if only you could.
First off, you're not doing it unless you're breaking the law because you have to walk on the roads. So,
at some point, you think they're going to do something.
Not a great way to start or end your day, dodging traffic.
No, I would say don't underestimate Coronado for the Animal Kingdom, though, also, if you want to try something new.
Thank you. I forgot about it because most people get the mindset that Animal Kingdom is the park is away from every resort except that. But Coronado, technically, if you look on a map, it's literally just on the other side, just like Jumbo is. And so that's a great one. And now you're talking about a moderate expense hotel, and it's a nice resort. So
Coronado's
that would be
a nice
good
resort.
one.
And it's even a very quick bus ride to the Magic Kingdom, actually, and back.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how close it is.
Yeah, Coronado is actually for bus transportation. That's one of the better ones.
Yes. Because
it's a small resort. It's one stop. You get on, you go. And it's about the same distance from all of them.
Absolutely.
So Epcot's a little farther, I think, but yeah, it's real close to. And like you said, Magic Kingdom, it's almost like an expressway.
It is.
You get on
right there.
You're there. So yeah.
And then we got to do it. Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom, and Magic Kingdom is the one that kind of opens things up for you to do a little bit more of everything. Magic Kingdom's of course, the monorail resorts, tough to beat that. When the monorail's running, you're talking Poly, Grand Floridian, Contemporary, all excellent choices. Also, though, nearby, and usually a little less expensive, Wilderness Lodge,
I was going to bring that
Copper
up.
Creek, as far as DVC. The boat ride over isn't bad at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. So, and actually then for the bargain hunters, you could actually start to stay in the campgrounds or the cabins, because that's a boat ride from right over in that same region, and they're less expensive. I'm a little bit shocked at how expensive the cabins are. Everybody thinks, oh, we'll go with that. It'll be dirt cheap.
Right.
Get ready. It's
not
more expensive than you realize, but
you can fit 6 people in there, so there's something to be said for that also.
So when you start talking about how many you can get in there and some of the other things, it's still less it's definitely less expensive than trying to stay at Poly, or Grand Floridian. So you're doing good,
right?
But I think so. Brings into the boat rides, which is very, very beneficial.
Yes.
So.
Big fan of the boat. It moves slower, of course, but once the boat gets going, you don't have any stops till you get there. So,
yep, exactly.
And views of the Contemporary when you're going by, fantastic. Well, Brad, we better put this one to bed.
Yeah, you look tired, Tim.
I'm a little tired, but hey, when am I not tired?
Don't say I look tired. Just say, I bet you're feeling tired. You've had a long day, Tim.
I have had a long day, but there's always time to talk some Disney. Oh, my goodness.
Always.
Brad,
always.
Brad, if somebody has some questions for you about split stays or just want to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
So the easiest way to get a hold of me would be either you can reach out, email at papamouse101@hotmail.com. I am on Twitter as Papa Mouse 1, but I'm very bad about keeping up on Twitter. But emailing me and or go to my Facebook page, Family Fun Travels by Brad, and you can find me there. And I'm always up for talking Disney and answering questions. I will warn you, if you ask me a question or you want to talk or chat, just be ready for it to be a long conversation, right, Tim?
We had to edit this down from a 4-hour conversation we just had. No, I'm kidding.
You won't believe the stuff you didn't hear in this show today that I had to talk about.
Oh, it was fantastic. Well, we have to take that out. Anyway, Brad, thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure, Tim. As always, I love hanging out with you and talking Disney.
Oh, and you. And I'm Tim Scott, Facebook, Twitter, of course, the website, ResortLoop.com. You can always check us out at ResortLoopTravel.com. And if you're thinking of moving to Florida, check out Victor Naraki at his site, DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com. Everybody, you've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. Brad, do your thing.
See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.